Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. My pleasure.
Why don't you tell me what we're cooking?
We are going to cook my family's recipe of oyster dressing, which we normally served at Thanksgiving and Christmas. The first thing we did was chop the onions and the celery.
All right. Well, you're gonna put me to work.
All right.
I'm
Get that
ready
big
to go.
chef knife out.
I gotta find that thing.
Uh-oh.
I'll
This
put
will
it
be
somewhere. There you go.
safety
You
safe.
want to come over here?
Sure.
That way you can tell me if I'm doing it right.
All right. Well, I'm
We
quite
tried
sure
to
you will.
we tried to gather all the ingredients that you were telling me about, but I
Yes.
understand we're gonna make this dish today just by taste. We
That's
don't- we
right.
don't
That
follow
there is
recipes.
no written recipe, but the first thing we normally would do is cook the celery and onions, kind of saute those.
Okay.
It is by taste.
All right.
When the recipe first started, it came down from my grandmother to my mother, and then finally, after she decided it was more of a job that she wanted, I took over.
I wasn't really quite sure. I know that you asked for an onion, and then we got a yellow onion and a white onion.
I generally use the white onions, but
Okay.
I don't know that there's a big
I thought you were
difference.
going to say red, and I was going to say,
No,
well,
no,
forget
no.
it. You tell me how to do it, or if
All
I'm
right,
doing
well.
it correctly.
I would certainly peel off the outer covering. We don't want to eat that.
Yep.
And then just finely chop it.
Do you have a specific size, or you just kind of rough chop it?
Just rough chop it because it's going to cook in the dressing anyway, and you don't want to bite into a huge piece of onion. It just needs to be part of the seasonings.
Got it. So when I dice, sometimes I do this way,
Yes. And that works too.
just to get it diced,
Yep.
and we're going to go about that size.
That's perfect.
Okay. The other thing we got is some sage.
Yes.
And now we have two different types. I did already chop up the sage.
Okay, so you have
for
the,
you.
yeah, the fresh sage
We have
chopped.
fresh sage
Sage.
that I already chopped.
Right.
And then we have the rubbed sage
Right.
that you brought in the can.
Right.
Which do you prefer?
I usually try to use a little of each, but the fresh sage, it takes a while to develop the taste. So if you get too much, it overpowers it. So I use less of that and some pepper. And then, that's pretty much the seasonings that go into it.
Okay, well, I've turned on, we're
All right.
using an induction burner
Okay,
so we don't catch anything on fires.
that would be good.
What? How much celery do you think we need? How much
I
celery do
would
you
say 3 of those.
think? 3 of these?
Yeah. Again, this recipe is not written down, so it's kind of like how much of this do you want? So
I'm gonna
that
do
looks
4.
good because you're going to chop off part of the bottom of
Yep.
it anyway.
What are some of the other dishes that you guys make around the holiday time that go with the stuffing? And I'm going to ask you 2 questions. Does the stuffing have to be only served on the holidays, or do you serve it other times?
Oh, no, you can serve it any time you want. If you think you'd like to have, a turkey breast or baked chicken, you can always make the dressing.
I think,
It doesn't really take that much time. Chopping is the biggest thing, so if you wanted to buy the pre-chopped,
yeah,
heck, right there, throw it all in the pan.
I really think that stuffing is actually one of my favorite foods. Whether
Is it?
it
Well,
is
good.
for
Yeah.
whether it is for the holidays or not.
Yeah.
I just love it. And I always try to make mine taste like stovetop.
Oh, okay.
Even when I make it fresh.
Really?
I try to make it taste as much like stovetop as
Yeah,
possible
well,
because that's my favorite.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite things that you do make on the holidays? Or that your family makes?
Oh my gosh. I usually make a Mexican chocolate cake, which is a sheet cake that has just a little bit of cayenne pepper in it.
That sounds amazing.
Let me ask you
Everybody-
another question real
Yeah.
quick about this. We're going to use some vegetable oil.
Yes,
And instead of butter. You
that's
don't use
fine. That's
butter.
what I normally do.
Okay.
That kind
Sounds
of
good.
binds the breading all together.
Okay. I'm
So
going
I
in
just
with it.
dump the whole thing in there.
So now we got the onions going, and you said before I was looking at your recipe, and it's a dressing recipe.
Yes.
And what's the difference to you between dressing and stuffing?
I look at it like if you're going to use stuffing, you're stuffing the bird. It's
Yeah.
just a different consistency.
Yeah.
It's more wet, I guess, and it does take on the juices from the bird as it cooks.
I know we were cooking. I was cooking with another resident, and she was telling me we were talking about prime rib, and she had mentioned about a Yorkshire pudding for the prime rib.
Oh yeah.
And and you know, Yorkshire puddings in the culinary world are commonly referred to as popovers.
Yes.
And the term is interchangeable in professional kitchens, but I know there's like an actual different definition between the two of them. But I think it's kind of maybe the same with dressing and stuffing. Where'd you say you were from originally?
Well, this is what I can recall. My grandparents in the small town where we lived.
Where
lived
was that?
In Kansas.
In Kansas.
In a little town called Chanute on the southeastern corner. Lived in an apartment above a small grocery store. And the man always had fish. I can only assume that that's where they got the oysters. And it could have been that they used canned oysters before they could get fresh. You know, I can't recall that far back.
It's kind of a standard ingredient, and it's also very polarizing. Some people hate it,
Yes.
and some people can't have Thanksgiving without it.
Yeah.
When I first met my wife, she was allergic to seafood, or thought she was allergic to seafood, and my mom had made some oyster stuffing and was so excited about it and made my wife taste the stuffing. And so we still joke about how my mom tried to kill my wife with her oyster stuffing.
Well, that can happen, especially, yeah,
So we have the onions and celery
saute.
sweated down
Right.
with
yeah.
a little bit of oil. What do we add in here
All right,
next?
we're going to go ahead and add the dry ingredients, the
Okay.
breadcrumbs.
Breadcrumbs.
Yes.
Okay. And we have 1/2 Pepperidge Farm regular
Yes, and
and
1/2
1/2 cornbread.
cornbread.
Okay.
Right.
And we're going to double that recipe. I think I have a little bit more hidden
Hidden crumbs. All
hidden
right.
crumbs.
So my maternal grandmother, who was the mother of 6, the family was kind of divided between 3 older kids and 3 younger ones, was always a great cook. But they lived out in, not necessarily in the country, but in a rural or more rural area. And she would always make pork. And the funniest thing was at Christmas, the gift that you got was somebody always got the pork tail wrapped up in a box. That was the gag gift.
So with this, we're going to go in with
Now we can go in with the
oysters.
oysters. We can do those.
And which sage do you think we do?
Oh,
do we drain the juice?
I would, yes, I would drain that
Drain
juice
the
off
juice.
of there. Sometimes I taste it to see how salty it is.
Want to try one?
Sure. All right.
Cheers. Oh, it's too late.
They're good. And then let's go in with the dried sage a little bit,
You want? Okay.
the rub sage.
You know why they call it rubbed?
No, is that because they rub it between their fingers?
That's what I've always thought.
Okay, well then,
Now I'm no
there's,
Google. but
all right, I
that
think
works.
that's probably enough.
Well, it's a good thing because we're
That
out.
was a good thing. All right, all right. Not too much
Just liquid?
of the broth,
And then we're going to feel it,
yes, and then we're going to just
make it make sense.
make it make sense. Put it all together.
And we
then
just
we'll-
want it to be a little bit moistened
Yes.
so it incorporates when we dry it out.
Right, and we don't want to come out with a glob of mush.
Right. Let's give it a try.
All right.
Since we're going by taste, you got to come over here with me.
Okay. Let's dig in here and get a little bit of everything.
Before we cook it.
That's
Make
right.
sure we don't.
All right.
I think that works.
I think that's delicious.
You know what I like to do too is just put a couple oysters on the top of it.
Oh, that's
And
very.
that way everybody understands that
knows
there's
what's
oysters
in
in
there.
it.
Yep.
And you don't end up in the situation like my wife.
Yes. Yeah.
Make it very clear. Don't hide the oysters in the bottom of it.
Well, and you don't want to either because you
Yeah.
want to taste them all
Yeah.
through the dressing. So,
We're gonna
yeah.
top it with fresh sage.
oh, that's great. That looks delicious. Well,
I'm gonna go into the oven,
all right.
preheated 350.
Yep, for about 30 to 45 minutes.
Okay,
You don't want to burn it on the bottom,
that's it.
and that's it.
All right, we're gonna let that thing
All right.
rest. All right, I think.
Take
peek.
it. Oh my gosh, that looks fantastic.
It looks like it's brown enough.
Ah, it does.
All
Nice
right.
and yes.
Let's give it a try.
Oh, that's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful.
So I have a chef's hat for you.
Oh my goodness.
We're gonna have to don our chef's hat. I think this will be for me the my graduation.
Hats are
Tool.
not my thing.
What do you think? Let's try give it a try.
Sure, let's go in after that.
Okay. I don't think it's too hot.
No, I don't think so.
Don't burn your hand on the side though.
Okay. 2 forks up.
All right. Well, thank you again very
Well,
much.
thank you.
It was
This
very
was-
educational, and I loved hearing all your stories.
Well, thank you.
I hope you can cook with me again.
I hope so too. Come back and we'll have to fix that Mexican chocolate cake.
That's it. I'm ready.
Yep.